What if I told you that the way many seniors eat, even when they believe they are eating healthy, is quietly weakening their muscles, draining their energy, and increasing their risk of falls, not because the food itself is bad, but because of when and how they eat it? I have spent over 30 years in clinical medicine, working with patients across internal medicine, geriatrics, and preventive health. And one of the most common patterns I see in my older patients is something I call the silent nutrition mistake. It is silent because it does not announce itself with obvious symptoms. There is no sudden illness, no dramatic event. Instead, there is a gradual erosion of strength, balance, and vitality that most people attribute simply to getting older. But here is what I want you to understand. Much of this erosion is preventable, and the correction is not complicated. It does not require expensive supplements or extreme diets. It requires understanding what changes in your body after 60 and adjusting your eating patterns to match those changes. Today, I am going to walk you through exactly what this silent mistake looks like, why it becomes more dangerous as we age, how to recognize the warning signs in yourself or someone you care for, and most importantly, what simple steps you can take to protect your strength, your balance, and your independence for years to come. Let me begin by explaining why nutrition becomes more complicated after 60, even for people who have eaten well their entire lives. Your digestive system at 70 is not the same digestive system you had at 40. Several important changes occur that most people are never told about. First, stomach acid production tends to decrease with age. This matters more than most people realize. Stomach acid is not just for breaking down food. It is essential for activating enzymes that digest protein. It is necessary for absorbing vitamin B12, iron, calcium, magnesium, and zinc. When stomach acid is lower, you can eat all the right foods and still not absorb the nutrients you need. Second, the movement of food through your digestive tract, what we call motility, often slows down. This can lead to constipation, bloating, and a feeling of fullness that makes people eat less. When you eat less, you get fewer nutrients, and when food moves more slowly, the absorption process can be affected. Third, the gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, changes with age. The balance of beneficial bacteria can shift, affecting everything from immune function to nutrient absorption to inflammation levels throughout your body. These digestive changes mean that the margin for error in your diet becomes narrower. Foods and eating patterns that worked fine at 50 may not work as well at 70. And the consequences of nutritional gaps accumulate over time, showing up as weakness, fatigue, poor balance, slow healing, and increased vulnerability to illness and injury. Now let me describe the silent mistake itself. The silent nutrition mistake is not about eating junk food. Most of my patients who make this mistake are genuinely trying to eat well. They avoid obvious problems. They choose what they believe are healthy options. The mistake is a pattern of underfueling and poor nutrient distribution throughout the day, combined with eating habits that do not account for the digestive changes I just described. Let me give you some common examples I see in my practice. The light breakfast. Many seniors start their day with a small meal, perhaps some toast or a bowl of cereal, maybe just coffee and a piece of fruit. They believe they are not that hungry in the morning, or they think eating light is healthier. The problem is that after an overnight fast, your body needs fuel to maintain blood sugar stability and provide amino acids for muscle maintenance. A carbohydrate-heavy light breakfast causes blood sugar to spike and then crash, leading to mid-morning fatigue, shakiness, and increased hunger later that often results in poor food choices. More importantly, that light breakfast provides little protein, and protein is not something your body can catch up on later. Your muscles need a steady supply of amino acids throughout the day to maintain their mass and strength. A protein-poor breakfast means missing one of 3 critical opportunities to support your muscles. The salad-only lunch. This is another pattern I see frequently. Someone has a large salad for lunch, believing they are making a virtuous choice. The salad might have lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, and a light dressing. While vegetables are certainly valuable, a salad like this provides very little protein, often minimal healthy fats, and not nearly enough calories to sustain energy through the afternoon. The result is an energy crash by mid-afternoon, difficulty concentrating, and often a snack of something convenient but nutritionally empty. If the salad included grilled chicken, salmon, hard-boiled eggs, beans, cheese, nuts, and a substantial dressing with olive oil, it would be a different story. But the salad-only pattern I see is usually stripped down in a way that leaves people undernourished. The protein-loaded dinner. Because breakfast is light and lunch is inadequate, many seniors save most of their protein for dinner. They might have a reasonable portion of meat or fish in the evening, believing this balances out the day. But research on protein utilization in older adults suggests that the body can only use so much protein at one time for muscle synthesis. Loading all your protein into one meal means much of it is not used for muscle building. The body needed those amino acids spread throughout the day. Avoiding salt entirely. This is a pattern I see in people who have heard general advice about reducing sodium for heart health. They eliminate salt almost completely from their diet. For some individuals with specific medical conditions, sodium restriction is indeed important. But for many older adults, especially those on certain blood pressure medications or diuretics, excessive sodium restriction can lead to electrolyte imbalances, dizziness, weakness, and increased fall risk. The body needs some sodium to function properly. Rushed eating and poor chewing. Many people do not realize how important the physical act of eating is for digestion. When you chew food thoroughly, you break it down mechanically and mix it with enzymes in your saliva that begin the digestive process. When you rush through meals, swallowing food that is not adequately chewed, you put more burden on a digestive system that is already working less efficiently. This combination of patterns, underfueling at breakfast, inadequate protein at lunch, rushed meals, poor chewing, and sometimes excessive restriction of salt or other nutrients, creates a slow drain on the body's resources. Day after day, week after week, the effects accumulate. Muscles gradually weaken because they are not receiving the steady amino acid supply they need. Bones become more vulnerable because calcium and vitamin D absorption is compromised. Energy fluctuates because blood sugar is unstable. Balance becomes less reliable because the muscles and nervous system that maintain balance are not properly supported. Recovery from illness or injury takes longer because the body lacks the building blocks it needs. This is the silent mistake. It is not dramatic. It does not feel like a crisis. But over months and years, it steals vitality in ways that most people attribute simply to aging. Now let me help you recognize whether this might be affecting you or someone you care about. Here are warning signs to watch for. Weaker grip strength. If you have noticed that opening jars has become more difficult or that your handshake feels weaker, this may indicate muscle loss that is progressing faster than it should. Slower stair climbing. If going upstairs has become noticeably harder over the past year or two, or if you find yourself needing the handrail more than before, this is a sign that leg strength may be declining. Frequent muscle cramps, especially at night. While cramps can have many causes, frequent cramping can indicate electrolyte imbalances related to nutrition, feeling unsteady or wobbly. Balance and falls are a serious concern after 60, and feeling less stable on your feet can be related to muscle weakness, nutritional deficiencies, or both. Afternoon energy crashes. If you reliably feel exhausted or foggy by mid-afternoon, your eating pattern may be causing blood sugar instability. New or worsening constipation. Changes in digestion that lead to constipation can indicate that your digestive system needs support. Poor sleep quality. waking frequently during the night, difficulty falling asleep, or waking unrefreshed can all be influenced by nutrition and meal timing. Bruising more easily than before. Easy bruising can indicate nutritional deficiencies, particularly in vitamin C, vitamin K, or protein. Slow wound healing. If cuts, scrapes, or surgical incisions take longer to heal than expected, this may indicate that your body lacks the nutrients needed for tissue repair. Feeling cold more often. If you are frequently cold when others are comfortable, this can be related to thyroid function but also to inadequate caloric intake or poor circulation related to nutritional status. Increased susceptibility to infections. If you seem to catch every cold that goes around, or if infections take longer to resolve, your immune system may not be getting the nutritional support it needs. Loss of appetite or feeling full quickly. While these symptoms should be evaluated medically, they can also be part of the digestive slowing that leads to undereating. If several of these resonate with you, it is worth examining your eating patterns with fresh eyes. Now let me give you the correction plan. I call this the three-part fix, and it is designed to be simple, safe, and sustainable for most adults over 60. Part 1 is protein distribution. Instead of saving protein for dinner, spread it across all 3 meals. Aim to include a meaningful protein source at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Research suggests that older adults may benefit from approximately 20 to 30 grams of protein at each meal, though individual needs vary. For breakfast, this might mean eggs in any form, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or adding protein to oatmeal through nuts, seeds, or milk. Even a glass of milk with breakfast adds protein. For lunch, make sure your meal includes a real protein source. Tuna salad, chicken soup, leftover meat from dinner, beans and legumes, cheese, or eggs all count. If you have a salad, load it with protein-rich toppings. For dinner, continue including protein as you probably already do, but recognize that this meal alone cannot make up for deficits earlier in the day. The goal is steady protein intake throughout the day so your muscles receive a continuous supply of amino acids for maintenance and repair. Part 2 is mineral and hydration timing. Many older adults do not drink enough fluids, partly because thirst sensation decreases with age. Dehydration can contribute to confusion, dizziness, constipation, and fatigue. Aim to drink water consistently throughout the day rather than trying to catch up all at once. Keep a glass or bottle of water visible as a reminder. Herbal teas and other non-caffeinated beverages count toward hydration. For minerals, focus on food sources rather than supplements unless your doctor has specifically recommended them. Potassium-rich foods include bananas, oranges, potatoes, tomatoes, and leafy greens. Magnesium-rich foods include nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains, and dark chocolate in moderation. If you have kidney disease, heart failure, or are on certain medications, your mineral intake may need to be carefully managed, so please talk to your doctor before making significant changes. Part 3 is gentle digestion support. Given the digestive changes that occur with age, helping your digestive system work more efficiently can improve nutrient absorption. Chew your food thoroughly. This sounds simple, but many people rush through meals. Put your fork down between bites. Aim for each bite to be well chewed before swallowing. Eat in a relaxed setting when possible. Stress and rushing impair digestion. Even a few deep breaths before eating can help prepare your digestive system. Consider probiotic foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, or kimchi, which support beneficial gut bacteria. These do not need to be consumed in large amounts. Even small regular servings can be helpful. Walking gently after meals, even just for 10 or 15 minutes, can improve motility and blood sugar handling. This does not need to be vigorous exercise, just light movement. Balance your fiber intake. Fiber is important, but suddenly increasing fiber without adequate fluids can worsen constipation. Add fiber gradually and drink plenty of water. Let me give you an example of what a day of eating might look like using these principles. For breakfast, consider 2 eggs scrambled with vegetables, a slice of whole grain toast with butter or avocado, and a small container of Greek yogurt with berries. This provides protein from both the eggs and the yogurt, healthy fats, fiber, and a variety of micronutrients. Alternatively, a bowl of oatmeal made with milk instead of water, topped with walnuts, ground flaxseed, and a spoonful of nut butter, provides more protein and healthy fat than plain oatmeal with fruit. For lunch, consider a tuna salad sandwich on whole grain bread with a side of vegetable soup, or a large salad with grilled chicken, chickpeas, feta cheese, olive oil dressing, and a whole grain roll, or leftover chicken with roasted vegetables and a piece of fruit. The key is ensuring that lunch includes substantial protein, not just vegetables. For dinner, use a simple plate method. Fill half your plate with vegetables, 1/4 with protein like fish, chicken, meat, or beans, and 1/4 with a starch like potato, rice, or whole grain bread. Add a salad with olive oil dressing. This does not need to be complicated or gourmet. Simple, consistent, balanced meals are the goal. For snacks, if you need them, choose options that include protein, a handful of nuts, cheese with whole grain crackers, apple slices with peanut butter, Greek yogurt, hard-boiled eggs. Avoid snacking on carbohydrate-only foods like crackers, pretzels, or sweets, which spike blood sugar and provide little sustained nutrition. Now I need to address some important cautions, and I want you to take this section seriously. If you have diabetes, changes to your eating pattern can affect your blood sugar control. Adding protein throughout the day is generally beneficial, but you should discuss any significant dietary changes with your healthcare provider, especially if you take insulin or medications that affect blood sugar. If you have kidney disease, protein intake and mineral intake, particularly potassium and phosphorus, may need to be carefully managed. Higher protein diets are not appropriate for everyone with kidney problems. Please talk to your doctor or a renal dietitian before making changes. If you have heart failure or are on diuretics, your sodium and fluid intake may be restricted. The general advice about not over-restricting sodium may not apply to you. Follow your doctor's specific guidance. If you are on blood thinners like warfarin, be aware that changes to your intake of vitamin K-rich foods like leafy greens can affect your medication levels. This does not mean you should avoid these foods, but you should keep your intake consistent from week to week and inform your healthcare provider if you make significant changes. If you have a history of kidney stones, some of the high oxalate foods recommended for minerals, like spinach and certain nuts, may need to be limited. Discuss your specific situation with your doctor. The general principles I have shared today are appropriate for most healthy older adults, but if you have specific medical conditions, please talk to your doctor before making significant changes to your diet. Let me share a few brief patient examples to illustrate how these changes can help. I had a patient, a woman in her late 70s, who came to me concerned about fatigue and weakness. She was eating what she thought was a healthy diet, a small breakfast of toast and coffee, a lunch salad, and a reasonable dinner. When we calculated her protein intake, she was getting less than 40 grams per day, far below what her body needed. We restructured her eating to include eggs at breakfast, added protein to her lunch salads, and kept her dinner the same. Within 6 weeks, she reported noticeably more energy and felt stronger during her daily walks. Her grip strength, which we measured, had improved. Another patient, a man in his early 70s, was experiencing frequent muscle cramps and dizziness. He had eliminated salt almost entirely from his diet after reading about sodium and blood pressure. He was also on a blood pressure medication that had a mild diuretic effect. When we checked his sodium levels, they were at the low end of normal. We discussed that for him, moderate sodium intake was appropriate and that excessive restriction was likely contributing to his symptoms. With a slight increase in sodium and better hydration, his cramps diminished and the dizziness improved. A third patient, a woman in her 80s, complained of constipation and bloating that had developed over the past year. She was eating quickly between activities and rarely sat down for a proper meal. When we focused on slower eating, thorough chewing, and a short walk after dinner, her digestive symptoms improved substantially without any medication. These are not dramatic transformations. They are the steady improvements that come from addressing the silent nutrition mistakes that accumulate over time. Let me summarize the key points from today's discussion. After 60, your digestive system changes in ways that affect how you absorb nutrients. Lower stomach acid, slower motility, and shifts in your gut microbiome mean you may not be getting everything you need from your food, even if you are eating well. The silent nutrition mistake is a pattern of underfueling and poor protein distribution that gradually weakens muscles, drains energy, and increases fall risk. Common patterns include light breakfasts, protein-poor lunches, rushed eating, and sometimes excessive restriction of nutrients like sodium. Warning signs include weaker grip, slower stair climbing, frequent cramps, unsteadiness, afternoon crashes, constipation, poor sleep, easy bruising, slow healing, and frequent infections. The correction involves 3 parts: distributing protein across all 3 meals, paying attention to minerals and hydration, and supporting digestion through slower eating, thorough chewing, probiotic foods, and gentle movement after meals. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, heart failure, or are on blood thinners or diuretics, please talk to your doctor before making significant changes. Now I would like to hear from you. Please tell me in the comments how old you are and where you are watching from. I am genuinely interested in knowing who is part of this community. And tell me, which meal is hardest for you to keep consistent? Is it breakfast, lunch, or dinner? What gets in the way? Your answers help me understand what topics to address in future discussions. If you found this information valuable, I would be grateful if you would consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I share evidence-based guidance for adults over 60 who want to stay strong, clear-headed, and independent as they age. This is not about perfection. It is about making small adjustments that compound over time. The silent mistake I described today did not develop overnight, and correcting it does not require dramatic changes. It requires awareness and consistency. You deserve to know how your body works and what it needs. You deserve to feel strong and capable for as many years as possible. And with the right information, you can make choices that support that goal. Thank you for your time and attention. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you in the next discussion.